Between the ages of 16 and 19, I totaled 3 cars. For 3 straight years, like clockwork, summer would hit, no pun intended, and I would crash a car. At some point, my family dubbed me Crash 'em Up McGee. And my mother confesses that she got to the point that anytime her secretary uttered the words, "It's Marcus," that her heart would race as she imagined me in a ditch somewhere under a pile of rubble, yet somehow still able to dial a phone. But in my slight defense, that third accident, the one where I totaled my brother's 1992 Hyundai Excel, was totally not my fault. A taxi cab drove carelessly through a cascade of water shooting onto the road from a malfunctioning sprinkler and rear-ended me. The second accident, the one that ended my 1980 Saab Turbo, was arguably as much the other driver's fault as it was my fault. Yes, I may have run through the light a moment after it turned red, but the way that particular light was timed, all sides stayed red for a good 2 or 3 seconds before cross traffic was released. So had the other guy not, and I stand by this theory, jackrabbited into the intersection in anticipation of a green, there's no way we could have collided. But this show is about firsts, so I will focus on the accident that was definitely 100% and unequivocally my fault. Numero uno. Now, everybody who knew me back then mostly knows how it went down, but almost no one knows the why behind the tale. I certainly never told my parents. And in truth, I'm not sure if I'm ready for them to hear this, so no tweeting or posting. Actually, who am I kidding? They don't tweet, so you're probably fine. Yeah. But here goes. My first accident, or the birth of Crash 'em Up McGee. The year was 1990. Her name was Sapphire. A shimmering electric blue 1984 Mazda 626, my first car. I got her in one of those ideal resale situations where the one previous owner was like some little old lady who only used the car to go to church on Sundays and the market on Wednesdays. Low mileage, pristine interior, and the engine hummed like a pussycat. Or bird, however you want to say that. I remember how utterly badass I felt rolling up to my high school those last few days of my sophomore year. Then, after school let out, barely a month into my love affair with Sapphire, my dad's car went in the shop. So day after day, I found myself having to wake up indecently early for it to be summer break and take him up that hill. Now, by that hill, I mean a private access road in the Rocky Mountain foothills that led up a steep incline to the compound of Martin Marietta. This is the aerospace company where my dad worked. I was proud of the way Sapphire tackled the 1.5-mile trek to that entry gate. And though there was a pretty sharp hook in the road down at the bottom of the hill, the first 3/4 of the way down was a straight shot. So I would reward Sapphire's hard work making it to the top by putting her in neutral and coasting back down. We would reach speeds of 80, 85, even 90 miles per hour if I delayed braking just a little longer than usual. Now, you should know, by nature, I was more of a rule follower than I was a rebel. I was definitely no daredevil. I never snuck out the house after curfew or tried to get someone to score beer for me and my friends or drank beer. Back then, for me, even sipping on coffee was a little cray-cray. So I don't know from whence it sprang, but at some point came the notion to reach 100 miles an hour. If I could reach 90 just coasting, I reasoned if I gave it just a little gas, 100 was easily within reach. The idea sounds shruggable now, but to my 16-year-old brain, the concept sounded legendary. 100 miles an hour. I dropped my dad off as usual on a Tuesday. There were no seatbelt laws back then, and as a general rule, neither I nor my parents wore them. Yet, for some reason, that morning after I dropped my dad off, I clicked it on. I like to think that this was divine intervention, but on some level, I just think I knew I was about to do something really stupid. I was at 50 in no time. I hit 75 about halfway down. If I was going to punch it, now was the time. I gave it some gas. The speedometer hit 80, 90. Then as that hook down yonder approached, I reached my goal. 100 miles an hour! I shouted just like that, like a crazy person as I applied the brake. Yet, a split second later, my celebration stalled when I realized the road was curving, but I was still going straight. My steering wheel had locked, and 100 yards down, I could see a car coming up the hill directly in my path. With all my strength, I get the wheel to the right, and finally, she turned. Oh boy, did she turn. Sapphire went off the road, and as she hit the upslope just beyond the shoulder, started to roll. I've heard at moments like this that time slows. I concur. I could see the glass shatter. I could tell that I was upside down, and then after what seemed like an eternity, right side up again. I got out of the car to find several cars pulled to the side of the road and men running in my direction, shouting at me to not move and asking me if I was all right. And though covered in 1,000 shards of glass, miraculously, I was all right, at least physically. When I saw Sapphire's mangled body slumped on the ground with a broken axle and a crushed roof, I had another first. I became aware for the first time of my mortality. I wonder what might have happened if I hadn't randomly thought to buckle up. I thought this first story could have easily turned into a last. My dad had barely reached his desk and got the call. When he retrieved me from the security post, I told him how that wheel had just inexplicably locked up, which was true. I just chose to omit the jackassery that immediately proceeded. Accidents are bound to happen. I've certainly had my fair share, yet not since that first have I ever played with my life so carelessly. Crash 'em Up McGee has retired, and he always wears his seatbelt.